Did you know that there are some R&B stars who were forgotten after one hit? From Sunshine Anderson, whose breakout hit, Heard It All Before, still gets radio spins, to Anita Ward, who topped charts with Ring My Bell before fading. Here are the R&B stars who were forgotten after just one hit. Orrin Jones, The Rain, 1986. Orrin Jones had one of the most unforgettable voices in R&B during the 1980s. Before music, Orrin was all about discipline and duty. He graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 1981 and became a sniper officer in the Marine Corps. But deep down, music was calling. After leaving the military, he took a chance on his dream. That leap paid off when he became the very first artist signed to OBR Records, a branch of the legendary Def Jam label. In 1986, Orrin released his debut album Juice, and one song on it changed everything. That song was The Rain, a moody, dramatic track about a man confronting his unfaithful partner. It caught everyone's attention. The song shot up the charts, reaching number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and spending 2 weeks at number 1 on the US R&B charts. It even made it to number 4 in the UK. The spoken word ending, written by Vincent Bell, made it even more memorable. The song was such a hit, it earned Orrin a Grammy nomination for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance in 1987. He followed up with a duet called How to Love Again with fellow artist Allison Williams. But none of his later songs came close to the success of The Rain. Orrin released 2 more albums, but they didn't perform well. In the late 90s, he made a surprising turn, collaborating twice with adult film star and singer Midori. They recorded a duet of Let's Stay Together for his 1997 album Player's Call, and he also appeared on Midori's song 5 to 10, 15 to 20s for a music project called Porn to Rock. After none of these projects were successful, Orrin quietly stepped away from music. His last album and single were both released in 1997, and since then, he's stayed out of the spotlight. Johnny Kemp, Just Got Paid, 1988. Johnny Kemp was a Bahamian singer, songwriter, and record producer who became popular in the 1980s. But before the spotlight found him, he spent years working behind the scenes. Johnny started his music journey in 1979, writing songs for other people. In the early 80s, he was a session musician and backup singer. He sang backup for groups like the BB&Q, Band and Change, and even co-wrote songs on their albums. He also sang lead on a track called Cover Girl in 1984, which he later re-recorded for his own album. In 1986, Johnny got his big break. He signed a deal with Columbia Records and released his first solo album. The album didn't top the charts, but it still made an impression. One of the songs, Just Another Lover, made it to number 14 on the R&B charts. But his real moment came a year later. In 1987, Johnny dropped his second album, Secrets of Flying, and it had 2 big hits, Dancin' With Myself and Just Got Paid. That second one became a massive success. Just Got Paid hit number 1 on the US R&B charts and number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. It even went gold, selling over 1 million copies. The song was everywhere, clubs, radios, and parties. In 1989, he had a minor hit with Birthday Suit from the movie Sing. It reached number 36 on the Hot 100. He later released a new version of Cover Girl, but it didn't chart, and that ended up being the last single he put out. After that, Johnny stepped back from the music scene. In the 90s, Johnny Kemp and Sherry Goffin Condor, the daughter of Carole King, were the lead singers for the popular children's cover band, Sugar Beats. Kemp appeared on Keith Sweat's DVD release, Sweat Hotel Live, which featured live performances by Sweat in a sort of reunion with other R&B and new jack swing era pioneers of the late 1980s, including Teddy Riley. Ghost Town DJs My Boo, 1996. Ghost Town DJs was a hip-hop and Miami bass group from Atlanta, Georgia. The group included DJ Demp, Rodney Terry, Greg Street, and Keto. It all started when Rodney Terry, who loved the Miami bass sound from the 1980s, decided to form a group to bring that energy to a new generation. At first, Akima Johnson was supposed to sing the lead on their biggest song, but due to a scheduling issue, she couldn't make it. So another singer, Virgo Williams, stepped in, and it's her voice you hear on the track that made them famous. In 1996, Ghost Town DJs released My Boo, a song that mixed smooth R&B style singing with a deep bass beat. It was released on Jermaine Dupri's So So Def label, along with Columbia Records. Strangely enough, even though the group released 2 albums that same year, My Boo wasn't on either of them. When it first came out, My Boo was a modest hit, reaching number 31 on the Billboard Hot 100. It also did well in New Zealand, where it peaked at number 3, and then the song kind of faded into the background. But 20 years later, in 2016, something unexpected happened. A viral internet dance trend called the Running Man Challenge brought My Boo back to life. Suddenly, people were dancing to it all over social media, and the song became popular again. This time, it climbed even higher on the charts, hitting number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100, which beat its original peak. It also landed at number 10 on the R&B charts. In 2022, Rolling Stone honored the song by placing it at number 101 in their list of the 200 greatest dance songs of all time. Silento, Watch Me, Whip Nay Nay, 2015. Silento was once a rising star in American music. Everything started after he lost a high school talent show. Instead of giving up, he got motivated. In January 2015, he uploaded a song he made called Watch Me, Whip Nay Nay on SoundCloud using the name Silento. The song was built around fun dance moves that were already popular at the time, like the whip, the nay nay, the stanky leg, and the Superman. Silento promoted it himself by sharing clips on Instagram and SoundCloud, and even performed it at birthday parties, school events, and skating rinks around his neighborhood. TuneCore helped push the song further by teaming up with a dance network on YouTube called Dance On. They encouraged dancers to make videos using the hashtag #WatchMeDanceOn. Those dance videos went viral on YouTube and Vine, and by June 2015, Watch Me had become a massive hit. The song reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart and stayed on the chart for over a year. It sold millions of copies and was certified 6X Platinum. It also reached number 1 on the Billboard R&B Hip Hop chart in September 2015. Thanks to this success, Silento got a record deal with Capitol Records. In June 2015, Silento performed Watch Me on Good Morning America, which he said was the big moment that changed his life. By the end of that year, the music video had over 500 million views. By 2025, it had nearly 2 billion views, making it one of the most watched videos on YouTube. But despite the huge success of Watch Me, Silento struggled to follow it up. He released his first album, fresh out of high school, in 2018, and a second part 5 months later. One review said the music felt like it showed him slowly losing control. Then, in 2021, Silento was arrested and charged with the death of his cousin. The case shocked many fans. His own grandparents asked the judge not to let him out on bail, and that was how his career ended. Prue, Candles, 2000. Prudencesa Renfro, popularly known as Prue, is an American singer and songwriter. While growing up, she found joy in writing poetry and lyrics, first during high school and later while studying at Texas Southern University. She would often pair her words with music from some of her favorite artists, like Michael Jackson, Sade, Rochelle Farrell, Naughty by Nature, the Isley Brothers, and Miles Davis. At the same time, Prue was performing in bars while working as a bartender. Eventually, she decided to move to Los Angeles to give herself a real chance in the music industry. It was there that she began going by the name Prue. Her big break came when Roy Lott, an executive at Capitol Records, discovered her. He was impressed by both her voice and the way she wrote songs. With the help of producer Jack Ponte and his team at CaziDog Management, Prue recorded a demo that helped land her a deal with Capitol Records. Her first album, simply titled Prue, came out on November 7, 2000. The album reached number 176 on the Billboard 200 and stayed there for 2 weeks. On the R&B albums chart, it performed better, peaking at number 38 and staying for 32 weeks. 2 songs from the album, Candles and Aroma of a Man, were released as singles. Candles did especially well, reaching number 68 on Billboard's Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart and staying there for 14 weeks. It also hit number 65 on the R&B Hip Hop Airplay chart and stayed for 10 weeks. Though Prue didn't become a household name, her music touched many listeners that time. Joyce Sims, Come Into My Life, 1987. Joyce Sims was an American singer and songwriter who first made her mark in the music world during the 1980s. Her big break came in 1986 when she signed a deal with a label called Sleeping Bag Records. That same year, she released her first hit song, You Are My All and All, which was produced by well-known DJ Curtis Mantronic. The song became popular, especially in the UK, where it reached number 16 on the singles chart. In the US, it made it to number 6 on the dance chart. 2 years later, in 1988, Joyce released what would become her most famous song, Come Into My Life. Also produced by Mantronic, the track became a big hit, reaching number 10 on the US R&B chart and number 7 in the UK. It was the highest charting song of her career and helped her reach a wider audience. Thanks to the success of her singles, Joyce's first album, also titled Come Into My Life, did well. It climbed to number 22 on the US R&B albums chart and number 5 on the UK albums chart. She followed up with a second album in 1989 called All About Love. It didn't do as well, but it still made it to number 64 in the UK. After that, her music didn't chart anymore. But Joyce continued to make music and release songs from time to time. In 1994, she dropped a single called Who's Crying Now on Warlock Records, which had taken over Sleeping Bag Records after it shut down. Years later, in 2006, she released a song called What the World Needs Now Is Love from her album A New Beginning. In 2009, she launched her own label, August Rose Records, and started working on more music. In 2014, she came out with a new album titled Love Song, which included a duet with reggae singer Maxi Priest. Unfortunately, the album didn't chart, but it showed that Joyce was still passionate about music. Truth Hurts, Addictive, 2002. Sherry Watson, popularly known by her stage name Truth Hurts, is an American R&B singer who became popular in the early 2000s. Her music journey took a big step forward in 2000 when she signed with Dr. Dre's record label Aftermath Entertainment. Before her solo career took off, she worked behind the scenes, lending her voice as a background singer. She appeared on Busta Rhymes' hit song Break Your Neck in 2001 and also sang background vocals on D12's track Nasty Mind. In 2002, she released her debut album, Truthfully Speaking, with some of the biggest names in music helping out. The album had production from Dr. Dre, Timbaland, Hi-Tech, and DJ Quick. The lead single, Addictive, quickly became a hit. It featured a verse from legendary rapper Rakim and sampled a catchy piece from a Hindi song. The song reached number 9 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and did even better in Europe, going gold in France, Belgium, and Switzerland. But the Hindi sample used in the song caused trouble. Aftermath got hit with a $500 million lawsuit over it. Still, Addictive made Truth Hurts a name to watch, and that summer she joined the Smokin' Grooves Tour, performing alongside stars like Lauryn Hill, Outkast, CeeLo Green, The Roots, Jurassic 5, and Erykah Badu. But after all the excitement around Addictive, things started to slow down. Her follow-up single, The Truth, was written by R. Kelly, but it didn't get much attention on radio or TV. Over the years, she only popped up here and there, like singing on Jay-Z's song The Watcher 2 and Eve's track What. She also recorded a song with John Frusciante in 2011, but it didn't make it onto his final album. Mona Lisa, Can't Be Wasting My Time, 1996. Kimberly Ledbetter, popularly known as Mona Lisa, is an American singer, songwriter, actress, model, and music producer. She was born in Union, South Carolina, but grew up in Yonkers, New York. Her love for music started in church, where she learned to sing. She began entering talent shows, winning a lot of them, and eventually impressed a crowd at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. At just 15 years old, Kimberly met Hiram Hicks, the CEO of Island Black Music, a part of Island Records. When she sang His Eye is on the Sparrow for him with no music, just her voice, he was blown away. Soon after, she got her first record deal and took on the stage name Mona Lisa. Her debut single, Can't Be Wasting My Time, made it to number 65 on the Billboard Hot 100, did even better on the dance and R&B charts, and helped introduce her to a wider audience. That same year, she released her first album, 11 to 2079. She followed up with a song called You Said. Even though her voice still shined, the song's serious subject didn't connect with radio or fans, and it didn't chart well. Her next single, Peach, was supposed to launch her second album, Getting It On, but the song never got airplay and quietly disappeared. Instead of chasing fame that wasn't coming, Mona Lisa made the smart choice to go back to school and also explore modeling and writing. She didn't completely disappear from music. In 2004, she surprised fans by singing on Cameron's track, Girls. In 2007, she popped up again on a song with rapper Sonya Blade called Get At Me. Jimmy Cozier, She's All I Got, 2001. Jimmy Cozier is an American R&B singer and songwriter. His love for music started when he was just a kid. His family often pushed him to sing during family gatherings, and those small moments helped shape his talent. Before stepping into the spotlight, Jimmy worked behind the scenes, writing songs for big names like Mia, Sinead O'Connor, and even Janet Jackson. He helped co-write her song, Girlfriend, Boyfriend. He also sang backup vocals on Lil' Kim and Junior Mafia's song, Backstabbers, and went on tour with Joe during the promotion of Joe's album, All That I Am. Everything started to change when Wyclef Jean heard about Jimmy through his manager, Jacques Anant. Wyclef was impressed and introduced Jimmy to music legend Clive Davis, who ended up signing him to J Records in the year 2000. Jimmy's big break came in 2001 with his debut single, She's All I Got. The song became a hit, climbing to number 26 on the Billboard Hot 100 and reaching the 4 on the R&B chart. Riding the wave of that success, he released his first album, simply titled Jimmy Cozier, on July 9, 2001. The album made it to number 65 on the Billboard 200 and numbered 15 on the R&B albums chart. He released a follow-up song called So Much to Lose, but it didn't make as big of a splash. It only reached number 123 on the R&B chart. Around that same time, he also teamed up with fellow J Records artists. He sang on Alicia Keys' debut album, Songs in a Minor, on the track Mr. Man, which he helped write, and appeared on Olivia's song Turn Around. But after that, his name stopped appearing on the charts. Even though his time in the spotlight was short, Jimmy didn't walk away from music. Instead, he shifted gears and started writing songs for other artists like Chris Brown, Olivia, and Sherry Dennis. When J Records shut down, he launched his own label, Cozy Music Inc., where he has released some projects, even though they are not doing well. If you are enjoying this video, appreciate it by giving it a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Blue Cantrell, Hit 'em Up Style, Ooh Ooh Ooh, 2001. Blue Cantrell is an American R&B singer who had a fast rise to fame in the early 2000s. But before she became famous, she spent years working behind the scenes. In the late 1990s, Blue started out as a background singer for big artists like Sean Combs. In 1999, she joined a girl group called 8th Avenue, which was mentored by producer Teddy Riley. That experience helped her sharpen her skills and prepare for something bigger. That something bigger came in 2001 when Blue dropped her debut single, Hit 'em Up Style, Oops. The catchy song took off and became a major hit. It reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and hit number 1 on the U.S. mainstream Top 40 chart. It also did well overseas and appeared on her first album, So Blue. Thanks to that breakout success, Blue earned a Grammy nomination in 2002. She followed it up with her second album, Bittersweet, in 2003. This album included her biggest hit yet, Breathe, featuring Sean Paul. The song, written and produced by Ivan Matthias, exploded in the UK, staying at #1 on the UK singles chart for 4 straight weeks. It also topped charts in Ireland and landed in the top 10 in many other countries, including across Europe. Breathe became one of the biggest songs of the year and helped boost the album's international sales. But after riding high for a few years, Blue's music career took a turn. In 2005, her contract was up for renewal. She had the chance to stay with her label, but after her mentor, L.A. Reid, left the company, Blue decided to walk away. After that, she disappeared from the music scene and didn't release any new songs or albums. In 2013, she announced she was working on a new album by herself, but even all these years later, Blue hasn't released any new music since her early 2000s success. Debola Morgan, Dance With Me, 2000. Debola Morgan is an American singer and songwriter who started making music in the mid-1990s. She signed her first record deal with Atlantic Records in 1994, and soon after, she released her debut album, Debola. The album included the songs Take It Easy and Free, which both made it onto the R&B charts. A few years later, she switched over to Motown Records, where she released the single Yesterday. That song became a top 30 hit on the R&B charts and even landed on the pop charts. Things looked promising, but when it came time to release her second album, It's Not Over, it only came out in Japan and a few other countries. In the United States, it was shelved and never officially released in 1998. However, Debola wasn't done yet. In 2000, she returned to Atlantic Records and dropped the biggest hit of her career, Dance With Me. The song blew up, reaching #8 on the Billboard Hot 100 and becoming a top 5 dance hit. Her third album, also titled Dance With Me, followed shortly after and hit #35 on the Billboard Top Heat Seekers chart. 2 more songs, I Remember and Close to You, were released from the album, but they didn't make much of an impact. After that, Debola slowly stepped out of the spotlight. In 2005, she made a comeback, signing with an independent label called Ransomware, and released a gospel album called Light at the End of the Tunnel. Unfortunately, the album didn't get a wide release and it's not available on streaming platforms. By 2010, Debola was focusing on her faith. She released a live worship album with her church in Las Vegas, where she serves as the worship leader. The album was called Let the Worship and Champions Live 2. In 2012 and 2013, Debola surprised fans by performing with the classic R&B group Rolls Royce as their lead vocalist for several shows. Then in 2015, she teamed up with Shanice again, this time joining her and the group All For One on a song called Go to Bed from All For One's album 20. Lumidee, Never Leave You, Ooh, 2003. Lumidee is an American singer, rapper, and songwriter who became popular in 2003 with her hit song, Never Leave You, Ooh. The track was everywhere, and it climbed all the way to #3 on the US charts, and even hit #2 in the UK. It was the lead single from her debut album, Almost Famous, which came out on June 24, 2003, under Universal Records. The album sold over 276,000 copies in the US, but after that first big hit, things went quiet for a while. Instead of staying in the spotlight in the US, Lumidee shifted her focus to reggaeton and dancehall, exploring a different sound and vibe. She found a new fan base overseas, especially in Germany, France, Belgium, and the Netherlands, where she kept her music career alive. During those years, she dropped several mixtapes featuring new songs, remixes, and freestyles. She also teamed up with European artists and had some success in those markets, even if most of her US fans didn't hear about it. In 2007, Lumidee made her return to the US music scene with a new album called Unexpected, released through TVT Records. In an interview with Vibe, she said that signing with TVT was a surprise to many, including herself. She liked that people didn't expect her comeback as it reminded her of how no one saw her first hit coming. Her U.S. single from that album, She's Like the Wind, reached number 43 on the charts, but didn't get released in Europe. Instead, the European market got a different single, Crazy, featuring Pitbull, which did fairly well in Germany, Austria, and the UK. After that, Lumidee stepped away from the mainstream spotlight again. Between 2009 and 2012, she continued putting out music through mixtapes, even if she is no longer making headlines anymore. Moke and Steph, He's Mine, 1995. Moke and Steph was an R&B girl group from Los Angeles that made music from 1994 to 2000. The group's name came from the first parts of each member's name, Monifa, Kenya, and Stephanie. Before they became singers, the three women started out as dancers, performing on stage and in music videos for hip-hop artists. You might have seen them dancing for rapper AMG in Better Have My Money, or in Big Daddy Kane's video for This Is For the Lover in You. But Moke and Steph didn't want to stay behind the scenes. They began focusing on singing and worked on improving their vocals. At first, they linked up with a local production company and even signed a deal with a management company, but nothing really came of it. During this time, they were still taking college classes and working regular day jobs, trying to make ends meet while chasing their music dreams. Their big break came by chance. One day, they ran into AMG again, this time at the office of Greedy Greg Jesse and Anthony Lewis, who ran Outburst Records. AMG and some local rappers were freestyling when Monifa started singing a melody. Her voice caught everyone's attention, and soon all three women were singing. That moment impressed the label owners, and not long after, Moke and Steph officially became a group and signed a deal with Outburst Records. In 1995, they released their first big single, He's Mine, from their debut album As Is. The song became a huge hit, reaching number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 and selling over 600,000 copies. It was later certified gold. The track used samples from Zapp's Be Alright and Prince's Do Me, Baby, giving it a smooth, catchy vibe that fans loved. Moke and Steph had planned to release a follow-up single called Baby Come Close, which was a cover of a Smokey Robinson song. They also recorded a remix called I Can't Help It, a cover of a Michael Jackson track, but sadly, those songs were never officially released. Eden's Crush, Get Over Yourself, 2001. Eden's Crush was a girl group that came together in a very unique way through a reality TV show called Pop Stars, which aired in the U.S. in late 2000 on the now-closed WB network. The show followed hundreds of girls competing for a chance to become pop stars. Music producer David Foster was behind the show, and over several episodes, the group was narrowed down to 5 final members: Yvette Sosa, Maila Misajan, Ana Maria Lombo, Nicole Scherzinger, and Rosanna Tavares. Even before the group had a name or official lineup, they were already getting huge attention. Thanks to all the TV exposure, Warner Brothers Sire Records signed them to a record deal. That's how Eden's Crush was created. Their first single, Get Over Yourself, became a hit. It went to number 1 in Canada and reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the U.S. Their debut album, also called Pop Stars, did well too. It was certified gold and made it to number 6 on the Billboard 200 Albums chart. The group also made a guest appearance as themselves on the TV show Sabrina the Teenage Witch. In 2001, they got to perform as an opening act on big tours for NSYNC and Jessica Simpson. But just as their career was picking up, things took a turn. At the start of 2002, their record label, London Sire Records, shut down. Without a label, the group had no support, and soon after, Eden's Crush broke up. Even though their time together was short, one member, Nicole Scherzinger, went on to become a global star as the lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls. Joe Public, Live and Learn, 1992. Public was a music group from Buffalo, New York, known for their smooth mix of R&B, hippie-hop, and funk. The group was made up of Kevin Scott, who was the lead singer and bass player, Jake Carter, who played keyboard and guitar, Dwight Wyatt, who was on the drums, and Joe Sales, who was the lead guitarist. Before becoming Joe Public, the group was called Attention, and they were signed to Island Records back in 1989. A few years later, they switched things up, changed their name to Joe Public, and released their self-titled album under Columbia Records. That album included their biggest hit, Live and Learn, which became a huge success. It reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became the group's only top 40 hit. They followed it with another song called I Miss You, but it didn't do as well. It only got to number 55 on the charts. They made history by becoming the first R&B group to perform on MTV's Unplugged series. On that same show, they also played as the backup band for Boyz II Men and Shanice. They also performed as the band for Chris Cross on the Arsenio Hall show, which was actually the first time Jermaine Dupri appeared on national TV. Riding on the publicity their hit song gave them, Joe Public hosted the NBA Jam's music video, a special VHS tape made to promote the popular basketball game NBA Jam Tournament Edition. The tape included their Live and Learn music video, along with basketball highlights and some behind-the-scenes footage. In 1994, they released their second album, Easy Come, Easy Go, again with Columbia Records, but it didn't reach the same level of success as their first. Even after their time in the spotlight faded, the group kept making music behind the scenes. They wrote songs for other artists like Keith Sweat, including his 1991 track, Keep It Comin', and even wrote for Tyrese later on. Anita Ward, Ring My Bell, 1979. Anita Ward was a singer from Memphis, Tennessee, but before she was making music, she was actually working as a school teacher. Things changed when she got the chance to sign a recording contract and start working on her first album. While she was in the studio, the record label owner, Frederick Knight, gave her a song he had written the year before for another singer, Stacy Lattisaw. Anita didn't like the song at first. It was meant for kids and felt a bit too childish. But Knight told her she needed a fun, upbeat dance song to match the disco sound that was popular at the time. So she agreed to record it after they changed the lyrics to make them more mature. That song turned out to be Ring My Bell, and it became a huge hit. It reached number 1 in the US, the UK, and Canada in 1979. That same year, she also released her first album, Songs of Love, but none of the other songs on the album did as well. A track called Make Believe Lovers, which was on the back of the Ring My Bell single, didn't chart at all. Later that same year, Anita put out a second album called Sweet Surrender. It had a song called Don't Drop My Love, but that only made it to number 87 on the Billboard Hot 100, far from the success of her first big hit. Anita and her label tried to keep things going with a third album, but arguments between her and Frederick Knight got in the way. They only finished 3 songs before the project was scrapped. Those unfinished songs were later added to cheap re-releases of her first album. On top of all that, Anita was in a serious car accident, and disco music was starting to lose popularity. All of this caused her career to slow down, and people began calling her a one-hit wonder. Years later, in 1989, Anita made a comeback and released an album called Wherever There's Love. It had a song called Be My Baby, which was only released in Australia, but it didn't chart there either. After that, Anita stepped away from music again to focus on her family. She had a daughter not long after that album came out and decided to spend more time at home. Sunshine Anderson, Heard It All Before, 2001. Sunshine Anderson is an R&B and soul singer from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Her music journey began in 1999 when she signed with Atlantic Records. A couple of years later, in April 2001, she released her first album called Your Woman. The album was a big hit. It reached number 8 on the Billboard 200 and number 2 on the R&B chart. The lead single from the album, Heard It All Before, became her biggest hit. It climbed to number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 3 on the R&B chart. But after that strong start, things began to slow down. Her next single, Lunch or Dinner, didn't do as well and peaked at number 54 on the R&B chart. Still, the album went gold later that year. In 2004, Sunshine signed with a new label, Music World Entertainment, which was run by Matthew Knowles, Beyoncé's father. Her first single with them, Something I Want to Give You, came out in 2006. It didn't make much of a splash, only reaching number 80 on the R&B chart. Then in 2007, she dropped her second album, Sunshine at Midnight. It didn't do as well as her debut. It peaked at number 86 on the Billboard 200 and number 16 on the R&B chart. That year, she also went on tour with R&B singer Brian McKnight. Two more singles, Force of Nature and Wear the Crown, were released later that same year. After that, she disappeared from the spotlight. In 2010, Sunshine shared on Twitter that she had a new song out called Lie to Kick It. A few months later, on November 2, 2010, she released her third album, The Sun Shines Again, under Verve Forecast Records. Which of these songs do you like today? Let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video for more reggae stories.